Hey guys, we're going to be reacting to the newest Kirby trailer that came out for the Nintendo Direct yesterday. I decided to re-record this intro because the previous intro, it actually got corrupted and it was so weird. So I decided to go and do this instead. If you want to go and watch my initial reaction and not this analysis video, you can actually go and click up at the card in the corner and you can watch my full reaction to the Nintendo Direct. I hope you guys like this one though. Enjoy! So this is my second time watching this, and it's honestly, I feel like now that I've seen it the first time, I feel like I'm gonna catch more things this time. We see over here like a lot of like this disarray, and it's obvious to me, and I think to a lot of people here in the Kirby fandom, that this is taking place in some kind of weird post-apocalyptic world. I'm going to pause again. Here we have this like car, and this is one of the very few times we've actually seen a very hyper realistic car. We have seen cars in Kirby, and that's in Planet Robobot. And considering in Planet Robobot, the technology is considered not necessarily evil, but the mechanization of everything was a big plot point that destroyed Dreamland. And now it's kind of the opposite at this time, where technology is now being used as a good thing, or maybe as like, as just a supplement rather than being the entire lifestyle of Dreamland. And in this case, for this new world, technology has been overrun by nature, and considering the themes of the animals being villains that we've seen, I mean, hell, oh my god, I can't believe I got this right, where all of the animals are actually villains. They are clearly the enemies of this. Now, my initial reaction, we were really thinking we were gonna get Car Kirby. Well, not exactly. Kirby's mouth, and he swallows this car. I find it a little bit strange that that's the way that we're going with this. And it is called Mouthful mode. And honestly, I kind of like that this is like a supplement very similar to Kirby Planet Robobot and Triple Deluxe, where we have these weird like omega cool powers that it's just about Kirby himself and not necessarily like he is able to swallow things. So what do? We enhance how he is eating something. That's in Triple Deluxe. And or we have the mechas. So here we have Kirby, and they're just like running towards these enemies. We're here at the beach again, and Kirby, it's actually really cool how we noticeably can see that Kirby does indeed get very moist. This is such a poor choice of words, but it's the best. We've seen that desert level before where it's the post-apocalyptic world. And considering what this is one of Kirby's biggest adventures yet, it kind of makes sense that we have something we are having all these really, really fun worlds. Like, I'm glad that we're seeing the carnival level or like the circus level. It's like a circus and a carnival. It's kind of weird. We're back at this like this nature overrun like mall, it seems. Like this looks like a mall. Like look at this like 90s aesthetic carpet they got going down. For all we know, in our timeline, if I am believing that this is like Shiver Star, but like maybe like there's new like humans or something, like here's my idea is that Shiver Star is Earth, and it has been colonized, and it was originally Earth, but this could also be another part of Earth, or maybe it's possible that this is a new planet, but humans have inhabited this place a very long time ago. So it's possible that maybe in Kirby's in like Kirby lore, humans have finally, or humans a long time ago, they went from being only on Earth, and then they went throughout the galaxy, and they have established like their own customs and their own way of survival. And it's kind of evident to me the fact that that this carpet is like from the 90s and is very like overrun and worn down hints to me that this mall was like existing for like the mall, or maybe humankind itself, like started to decline by, in our version, the early 2000s of our era. So it's possible that humans have transported from the 90s, brought their culture of the 90s to this new world, and then because humanity is like dying or something, and nature is overtaking everything, along with just along with just like being overrun and being abandoned itself, the era stops, maybe in our version of the early 2000s of how we interpret generations. We also see a lot of technology that is like really overrun. Like look at all the mechanical things that happen. We've seen a lot of mechanical things, and we have even like foreign lettering. Like this is obviously not English, and we have never seen writing in Kirby unless it's like a billboard, but we've never actually seen what the writing looks like. In our I'm guessing that this is what it's either A, this is actually the language of the humans, or B, this is how Kirby and everybody else reads this this language. Because imagine trying to read, like, imagine you're an English speaker or an English learner, or you just know English and you're trying to read another language. It probably would look like garbled to you because you don't understand it. So those are my two interpretations of this, of the fact that there is foreign writing, and also the fact that there even is mechanical things going around. And it seems to me that although the mechanical things are working very properly, I'm assuming that these animals are either very highly intelligent and they're able to fix things up, fix things themselves. Maybe they're much smarter than we give them for. Once again, we have a lot of like ice and like ice structures, which leads me to believe, like, look, it's like all flooded, and these look like houses, but like this part here is like mostly ice, so it could be like icebergs or something, but mostly everything is submerged underwater. But what I'm gonna point over here is this like mechanical stuff. Like these look like cell towers. So possibly a tsunami could have easily have hit this poor area and just flooded this entire area, and now it's being overrun with, with snow because of the different climate changes. But that's just me, at least. We also have this little enemy over here that was like rolling. That is definitely Drill Kirby. I am I was also very surprised at how we were able to know the names of we got most of the names correct in the last episode, or in the last reaction of Kirby and the Forgotten Land, where we had Drill. Instead of Hunter, it's Ranger, and instead of, I'm trying to remember. Those are the main two that we were. Yeah, so they just confirmed in that little clip that, oh yeah, the animals are stealing Waddle Dees, so it's up to us slash Kirby to go and rescue them. Again, more of this like mechanical things, and it kind of leads me to believe that because of the way it's all worn down like this, I feel like Kirby may or may not interact with humans, or at least learn about the humans. There's a lot to take in that. There was a lot to take in that. Something interesting is this. Like, if I, like, peered a little bit more, it's more of this language. It is just more of this language, and I have no clue what could that be, or what is the lettering, and or if it's the interpretation of Kirby. My goodness. So it's kind of the return of like Kirby's return to Kirby and Kirby's Epic Yarn. That's the correct one. Where like you know how Kirby was able to transform using like yarn to shape his body into becoming a car or becoming a fish. Something similar like that. We have the return of a car again. Again, we have more of this metal. Also, in this corner here, we have Waddle Dee being kidnapped by these little crows. So the crows and the little animals are definitely in cahoots. What also makes me think is that all of the animals are all working together and they're all trying to kidnap these Waddle Dees. But I wonder why. Like, I feel like to me, it's very strange that, what did the Waddle Dees do to deserve this? I wonder. I love how the also again once more. Wow, this is a really good freeze frame. In this can, on that can, again, it's that foreign writing that we don't know. We have more of that Hunter Kirby again. So cone is kind of like a ground pound that or like it's like a sharp point that you can be, but it's mostly for like ground pounding. That's very interesting. Scissor-Lift Mouth. So I guess it just raises you to the top. You basically just stretch out your body. That must be very painful for Kirby, but he doesn't seem to mind it very much. Or they don't seem to mind it very much. Ring Mouth basically is like this weird. He almost looks like a trampoline. That's the weird part. I mentioned this earlier, but this is very much like in Super Mario Galaxy 2. You can eat a glowberry with Yoshi, and Yoshi will light up the area. So it's very similar like that. Coming out again with more Super Mario Galaxy 2 ideas, but like this is like very similar to like you have to fly the rings through like things with the bird. Arc mouth. This is a very beautiful area. This must be a part of the apocalyptic era or area because like it kind of freaks me out. Like look at how like abandoned this is. It's like you have these lampposts and these buildings with these certain areas. So what I'm thinking is that like considering like the houses and like the technology and like the parts of the world are very very different leads me to believe that there are different cultures that were occurring in this land and the humans came in different we're an abundance of different cultures. That's just how I think of it as. Kirby can wash things away. We once again can see that like Kirby is like rescuing a Waddle Dee. Here are the animals and I guess they're just trying to protect that area. We once again have Ethelyn. Ethelyn is a very interesting character. I think that the Kirby fandom is very, very skeptical about this little guy, considering they are possibly an animal. I'm guessing they're an animal because of like the ears and like the little tail and everything. So I wonder if like some people in the Kirby fandom are crazy because like we just do not trust new friends. It's happened with Marks. It happened with Magalore. It happened with way too many characters. Way too many of like Kirby's new friends are always like traitors, or if there's a villain, they become like a good person, like Susie in Planet Robobot. Once again, I'll actually rewind real quick for this. You need to collect a certain amount of Waddle Dees to open this. Very obvious. I once again will point out this little post office. We still don't know its function. What's really great is that here, this little napkin stand, I know this is so dumb of me, but this is once again another reference to the remint of the Kirby Cafe set instead, because last time we talked about the movie set, this time we're talking about the cafe set that they first came out with. And I'm glad that this is a mini game. It's very, very cute. We also have like this little menu over here. I love it. I love it. This looks like a boss rush or battle arena that you can go into that is for your typical boss rush arena that we usually have in most Kirby games. So once again, all of the mini games and everything that usually is in a menu is now being contextualized in the world. That's awesome. Oh my god, that's great. Now, this is the big one that we got wrong, that I got wrong especially. Waddle Dee's weapons shop. I love this animation of the Waddle Dees. So we have Chakram Cutter, which will actually play like what it looks like. So instead of just regular cutter, it will upgrade into multiple little rings. So you have more rings that you can keep going. Once again, this is a recurring Kirby enemy. This is, I believe this is Mr. Frosty. Mr. Frosty here looks very, very different. My goodness, he's not wearing his usual like overalls. He's not a darker color than he usually is. He's much more grizzly, which I think is going to be another clue to what are the enemies doing in this game versus are doing to like other characters in this game. I think that the animals are kidnapping the Waddle Dees to make them into these grisly, monstrous versions of themselves. So it's almost like unlocking that beast side of you, you know? And in this case, this is like a primal state of it. Like, I think, like, considering it's not wearing any pants, well, proper pants, and it's very grisly and very rough looking, I think the animals are trying to revert all of the other enemies that we have known and loved into primitive forms. Like they're unlocking like the primitive side of everything, which I find really cool. Once again, this is the kooky like 90s carpet, and it seems like there was like some kind of celebration of some kind. Like there's like this little celebration over here. So maybe it was like the mall was opening, or maybe something like before disaster struck, this mall is opening. Considering like look at these boxes over here that are unopened. Maybe they were setting up for something. Maybe it's the celebration of the mall being established, or it's an anniversary of some kind, or maybe it's the anniversary of something. We don't know. So we have fire and volcano fire. So depending on how many times you upgrade the ability, you get almost like these upgraded move sets, but like they're like different kinds. So now we have like volcano fire and chakram cutter. I wonder. Cutter needle, clutter needle. Sorry, not clutter needle has like more things. So I guess like each thing will do a new tool. Gigant, gigantic, gigant, gig, gigant, gigant. I don't know how to pronounce this. Giga Sword, I'm gonna say, or like the big sword in like Monster Hunter. We can we can barely see it, and it goes by really quick. This is another reference to one of the Kirby enemies that we've seen. It is I think it is, his name is Sir Kibble. That's the mini boss, I know that for sure. But look, it's the same green armor, same green armor, but now we have like this little like fluffy tufts. Like we have these weird tufts. Also, new enemy is like a bull kind of character, bull kind, which is really cool. But this is very interesting that we have Sir Kibble kind of making a comeback in the form of these new costumes. So it's like they've taken like the costume, outfit design, and upgradable abilities of Super Kirby Clash, and they put it in this game. We even have like this giant sword that's like super cool. And also it seems that they have new move sets to coincide with their new abilities. So I wonder if considering you have to buy these like abilities, I wonder if like you could just choose like, since that is kind of like an upgraded ability scroll area, I wonder if it's basically like, oh, here's a sword, but you can choose sword or you could choose your Giga Sword. Yeah, Noble Ranger was really cool. Like, we'll go back to it again one more time. We can't really see it here, but I think they're all supposed to be disguised as like very powerful enemies. Kirby is supposed to be dressed as like these powerful enemies, and this one's really cool. They have like this like blaster shot that's like really really powerful now. Once again, this is Chili or Mr. Frost. I think it's Mr. Frosty. Chili, I think I'm thinking of a different character. Sorry. I like that it's like a little patch here and like very grisly. And once again, it's like this little cap. So very different. Toy Hammer is really funny. I love that he's wearing like this blue helmet. Kirby wears his blue helmet and just whacks everything. This is very interesting to note for in these is that I guess you can just like set which one you want and then you can choose. Also, we have Dragon Kirby. Become a legendary monster with the power of a dragon. Spew fire like a flamethrower, jump, attack, and glide through the sky. You could do all sorts of dragony stuff. Wow, look at that. Yeah, you get like completely new movesets. We need to go back to that. We need to go back to that. Look at these more like grisly enemies. Again, we have more of this foreign language. Once again. We have these like different kinds of enemies now. These are actually new, maybe subtypes of enemies. Or like new species or something. We have like these grislier versions. They look like badgers, honestly, compared to their the main enemy that look like orange and kind of like pointed ear like and more smooth. We also have that bull coming back. We have this weird thing. It's like a rabbit. And then we have a snake. And then we have this little crow here. Look at like, this is like a factory setting. So they must have taken over this factory for their own. So here's Kirby. They're probably in Dreamland considering like, look at the surroundings. We have a new boss fight. So we have boss fights, new bosses. So we have this. I am not sure of what the names are. I will actually put them up on screen right now to tell you what are the names of all of the enemies because by the time I'm like recording this, they haven't revealed every character, like every like boss, mini boss. So this mini boss is clearly like a cheetah or like a leopard or something, and they have like Wolverine claws. We have this like strange armadillo with like, oh my god, that's great design. They have road signs on it because they're like roadkill. Wow, that's so freaky. We gotta talk about this right here. We gotta talk about this. King Dedede is once again back. Oh my god. After like me talking about how King Dedede was like nowhere in the trailer, in the previous trailer last month, I cannot believe that we're getting him here. Look, that's clearly him. This is clearly King Dedede with the blue marking, the yellow, and like the coat. That is clearly King Dedede, guys. But I think he has unlocked the beast form. So this might be. I'm gonna call this King Dedede, King of the Beast Dedede. So King of the Beast Dedede, I think, is being manipulated once more, one more time. Again, like just like in Kirby Star Allies, he got manipulated once, he got manipulated twice, and then he gets brainwashed in Planet Robobot. He's getting attacked again. I feel like every time we are always rescuing King Dedede. It's very strange. So we can. There he is. Here he is. We barely saw a shot of him. Like, I have to rewind this. I have to. Look at that. Once again, it's King Dedede. It looks like he's also got, considering he's got like a new coat, his new coat has like these spots on him. So, King Dedede is back. King of the Beast Dedede. is a very interesting design. So I wonder if he's become like a primitive penguin, like a beast penguin. That'd be really cool. So we just saw that Kirby is being warped into a new place with Bedanity. So I think that's like the disruption of space and time once again happening, and it's like transporting them to the new world. Evelyn is for some reason getting drowned in gunk, like gunk or something. It's weird. And I have no explanation for why that could be. Look at this like cityscape. The fact that like the electricity is still working in this world leads me to believe that the animals are much smarter than we think. We kind of take them granted for. They must have fixed this. I gotta say, like, I am still wondering what city is the Forgotten Land in. And I feel like it's not just one city, it's multiple cities of like the major cities combined into one. And or it's a completely new city that is trying to recreate an old city from the old world. So in my idea of in my idea of like the humans being like abandoning this or like either being killed or abandoned or they just left this project, it's it's interesting what could be happening. It's interesting to like understand like what happened to the humans. We also saw that like big long stretch of road, so I think like that's one of the other ways that they would that Kirby is going to transport between areas is that he goes down these long roads to the next areas. So that would be interesting. So, my thoughts on this trailer. This trailer reveals a lot of little details, but not as much as the previous one. I'm glad that King Dedede is back. I am so glad King Dedede is back. That made me so happy. I'm just so excited. The more we are learning about this game, the more invested I am in trying to learn the lore of what could have possibly happened to warrant the humans or whoever is running this like abandoned city or like learn about the city, you know? I am just so excited for this game. Oh my goodness. Thank you all for watching this reaction to Kirby and the Forgotten Land mouthful mode reveal. Hopefully in the next maybe possibly in a next trailer, or if this is the last trailer and we won't be getting any more, we'll do more reviews, and maybe even compile all of my analysis into like one cohesive like scripted video. We'll see. I hope you guys are having the best day of your life.